Hello everybody, it's old Shazizz here. I'm out here in my mad science laboratory. This video is an invitation to a lot of people around the world. You know, I'm sure that all of us can agree that the world's not faring too well in the state of all the unions. And there's a whole lot of things that need to be addressed, a whole lot of things that need to be fixed, and solutions to problems around the world. I and a bunch of other people from all over the globe have come together on www.shazizzradio.com. I put this radio station together initially for those musicians out there, alternative musicians that have a hard time getting their music heard. And so on Shazizz Radio here on YouTube, I'm putting out this video to invite you to bring your music, you know, send your MP3s to shazizz@yahoo.com so that we can get you heard on the air. And for those on the my YouTube here on Shazizz Mad Science, I'm inviting you to come over and join us on shazizz.com for the beginnings of virtual labs. A lot of the things that you guys worry about are the same things that we worry about. And with that said, you know, there's a whole lot of brilliant minds out there that we feel that if we tap into these minds together and bring about all these people together in a manner by which we can actually solve problems. My friend Cultus and I, we've come up with the idea for virtual labs. Of course, maybe it's not the most original idea in the world. I mean, I'm sure there's probably other people out there who had the idea, but we're taking that idea one step further. We have some wonderful friends behind the scenes who are making this possible. And essentially, virtual labs is a place where you can go and you can do and see live research for alternative energy things, and there's just so much to say. And I would encourage you that if you have the opportunity to come over to www.shazizzradio.com and join us in the Nights of the Round Table. Saturdays 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. The Nights of the Round Tables on Shazizz Radio. And just come in and give us a listen sometimes and see what it is that we're talking about. You might be surprised. We've probably got a lot in common. Like I said, there's people from many different nations who are coming together to put this virtual labs together so that we can solve the so-called energy crisis of the world. You know, real-time experiments where you'd have real-time interaction with researchers, and if you're a researcher yourself, and you know, need some advice or help or whatever, you know, maybe you got something you can teach somebody else. That's what it's all about, is bringing all these brilliant minds from all different nations together. We have an amazing opportunity here, and it's not just with my particular network and all my friends associated and all the networks associated with rebroadcasting our stream. It's your networks and your friends. But we have the opportunity to build a massive network by the people, for the people, coming together with alternative energy, alternative medicine, alternative music, you know, alternatives to the status quo that we call, you know, life itself, you know, the mainstream version of what they think we should dress like or be or whatever. And, you know, so with that said, if you're a musician, maybe you're just a poet, if you got something on your heart that you want to say to the world, then that's what it's all about. Come on over to Shazizz Radio. Call up live on any one of the radio shows and speak your point of mind and whatever, you know, views that you have. Now, keep in mind, we try to keep a respectful show going on. We don't want people coming over there to cuss one another out or, you know, filth or trash, you know, and so we try to keep it clean, so that you know, if there might be a child listening, they're not exposed to that kind of deal. Or you know, if your mother comes in and listens, you're not ashamed of what she just heard or anything like that. We want some good, clean, alternative musicians to come in there and share their talents with the world, and so that's what Shazizz Radio is all about. You know, it started off just for alternative music, and of course I was doing my alternative energy at the same time on another YouTube channel. But I'd like to extend this invitation to each and every one of you out there. If you have your own radio network and maybe want to simulcast with us, or you know, if you like one of the shows, you have my permission to run any show you want, rebroadcast it, do whatever you know, you can to throw positive pebbles in the pond out there to other individuals in the world. You know, I talk about the state of the world, and you know, it's we're having one heck of a go, and there's a lot of folks that are suffering, a lot of folks that are in need, and so with that said, it's going to be up to we the people to actually do something about it. You know, it's you reaching out and helping a brother out, feeding somebody who's hungry, or you know, throwing an extra dollar up there on the counter when you see somebody struggling or whatever. You know, and I know that this world is full of so many good-hearted people that do just that on a daily basis. But I think that we can create a snowball that will roll down the hill and pick up other like-minded souls around the world, and essentially put down the stepping stones for the future of all humanity to turn this ship that we're on around to a better direction. And so, you know, if you're a musician and you want your music to be heard, Shazizz Radio is the place for you. Send your MP3s on there. Just try to remember to keep it PG rated. You know, we want positive influence on the people out there in the world. If you got a good loving heart and message that you want to share or whatever, come on there and say it. If you're a poet, you want to write a poem and you want it read on air, or you want to come on air and read it yourself, come on and say it. This is about you being able to basically share your heart and your life and views with the world. Shazizz Radio is growing, and we've got a lot of individuals behind the scenes working on all kinds of different projects and stuff. Virtual Labs is nearing completion, and it's going to be an amazing thing whenever you can look directly into somebody's lab and ask them real-time questions and help out with measurements or whatever, you know. Or maybe you've got a project and you'd like people around the world to help you, you know, troubleshoot a few things. I'll try to make this video short, but there's just so much that I want to say that you know, it's just kind of hard to get it all in. I mean, I've got just words flowing through my mind that I just want to try to point out to you. We want to do a deal where we're calling out to everybody in the world to sit down and compose the most profound letter of peace to the world. You know. And we want to get together all these letters, and we want to formulate one letter from all the wonderful things that were said from the heart from individuals from around the globe. And we want to mail these letters to every single representative, every single government agent, every single police officer, every single person that we could possibly get one of these letters into the hands, to express how we, the people, really view what they have been doing to our world. You know, the representation that we get, I'm sure that not too many of you can disagree that it hasn't, the track record hasn't been that very impressive, you know. But we got to have some credit on ourselves. Some of it has to fall back on the way that we vote and choose our candidates and so on and so forth, and you know, the knowledge that we get. And you know, we have to hold the mainstream media accountable for all the crazy things that they've told us, you know. If you've been lied to so many times by mainstream media, or fed disinformation or propaganda or whatever, it's kind of hard to have a trusting heart and mind with those types of individuals. And so out here in the alternative media community, with exception of a few knuckleheads here and there are like-minded individuals just like yourself who see the world and know that it's not going down a good path. And so, with that said, coming together with like-minded individuals, sharing companionship and creating, which is essentially a worldwide family reunion of all the people, and actually speaking from our minds and our hearts what we really truly believe. I don't want war with your nation, just as you don't want war with my nation. There's a lot of money to be made in war. There's a lot of money via medicine and materials and weapons and fuel and everything under there. So the war machine is a money-making machine. And the basic world that we see ourselves in as far as the utilities and all the other resources available, it's a money-making deal in order to keep you down at the bottom. Call it a conspiracy theory or whatever you like, but it doesn't take 30 years to solve starvation in the world. We see on TV these commercials all the time that there's a starving baby over there and you can send your money in and you can do something. Well, how about this idea? How about instead of spending all the money that we do on war, death, and destruction to move all them resources over there to go mop somebody else into the Stone Age, why don't we take them same resources and go over and put some food in that starving baby's hand? Why don't we just do it? And the only thing that I can point out to you, for those of you that don't think conspiracy theories exist, is that it's not profitable. It's not profitable to feed the hungry. It's not profitable to solve the sickness. It's not profitable to feed, or whatever. It's a conundrum. You could go on and on and on. It's a riddle within a riddle. Why the representatives of all nations can't come together on this simple agreement? The supposed United Nations, by definition, united means we're all united and for one cause or purpose. But all we're seeing is death and destruction and ridiculousness on the mainstream media at all times, and it's no wonder the people of the world aren't, it's no wonder they're not wanting to live. It's no wonder they're suicidal and doing crazy things to themselves and one another. So at shazizzradio.com, we brought a group together of like-minded individuals, humbled souls that want to just reach out there and speak common sense and, try to uplift people. There's something you need. There's something we can help you with or whatever. The point is, I'm extending this invitation to everybody out there. Shazizz Radio is it's everybody's network. It doesn't just belong to me. I put the name out there because I believe in the dream. I believe in the whole betterment of humanity. With all the resources that we have at our disposal, there's no reason why we can't solve all these issues. And until we actually get up to doing things like virtual labs to where researchers are stepping up to the plate and they're putting their petty differences aside and troubleshooting designs and ideas, getting these ideas and knowledge out to the average population. Not for some sort of profit deal, not for some sort of I got to get a patent so I can get filthy stinking rich, but for the betterment of humanity. We bring this knowledge together and share it with one another so that it's open source out there for all to share. Once that knowledge is released out there into the public of the world, then it's like Pandora's box. The global elite can't get it back. The information's out there. We have that power. We have the power of the spoken word. We have the power of the pen. We have the power of our actions. And on shazizzradio.com, on the Nights of the Round Table, that's what we talk about on a weekly basis. Right now, the Nights of the Round Table's one night a week. I'd like to see a youth version of the Knights of the Round Table because I would love to hear from all the youngsters of the world and see what they believe. It's just, it's an overwhelming thing that we have to contend with. We've seen and heard every doomsday scenario under the sun. We've seen and we've heard every conspiracy under the sun. But what we haven't seen in this whole process is a peaceful resolution to the whole mess. So I'm asking each and every one of you out there to tell a friend, come on over and just listen in and say hi to us and see what's what. Join in on the Nights of the Round Table. You can contact me via Skype. That's user shazizz on Skype, shazizz on Facebook, shazizz on YouTube. Just call up and say hi. Join in the conversation. You know, share your music, share your love, share your ideas of peace to the world. Because there's no disagreement amongst all of us. If you look out into the world, it's a mess. You know, and it didn't get that way overnight. It's going to be up to each and every one of us to actually do something. You sit down there with a piece of paper, you write down what's on your heart, your message of peace, hope, and love to the world, the most profound letter of peace to the world. We combine all these letters together and we send copies of them out to every single individual in any position of power or public office. And hopefully that when they read that letter, it touches their heart. Now, I'm understanding that there's going to be individuals out there to say, oh, you know, they're not going to listen or whatever, this and that. But whether they listen or whether they don't listen, we keep throwing them positive pebbles out there in the pond. And, you know, if the first letter doesn't go through, we send a second letter. If the second letter don't go through, we just keep on sending a letter until it piles up so high that somebody has to look and see what it says. These supposed representatives around the world from all different nations swore oaths of office to serve and protect the people. Their track record shows just the opposite. ShazizzRadio.com isn't about being anti-government. It's not about being anti-social or total anarchy. It's about we the people showing the world that there is a better way than what we've got going on. Now, my dream is like the unachievable dream in most people's mind. I see this beautiful world that we've been given. I see all the vast resources and all the capabilities and all the talent and skills and this combined possibility of all men and women coming together to work for one another and help one another. There wouldn't be no need for wars. There wouldn't be no need for economies collapsing and all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't be no need for starvation or sickness. We have this capability. It is there at our hands. Those of you that would say the odds of this ever occurring is slim to none, I mean, I believe that we could literally build a heaven on earth, a utopia, so to speak. But it's not going to come overnight. And hopefully it doesn't come after some mass tragedy such as what it takes to get a family to come together. A loved one finally dies off and then it brings everyone together for the funeral. And that's the only time they really ever see each other is when there's a tragedy. We are a world of wonderful people. We are a world of great, loving human beings. There are individuals out there, many, many, just like you, with a heart of gold. And to bring all these individuals together to one place, to start troubleshooting the ideas and put these solutions in action. You know, the action could be something as simple as you smile on a brother, or instead of calling the law for your neighbor's yard being too tall, you go over here and ask him if he wants you to mow it for him. You know, if you see somebody who's they need a pair of shoes and you're feeling truly blessed and you got a few extra bucks in your pocket, put some shoes on their feet, put some food in their belly. These are all things that humans are capable of. Out here in my mad science laboratory, I search for the holy grail of electricity, the Tesla's version of wireless energy or whatever, something that can solve the energy crisis of the world so there's no reason to fight over oil and resources. At Shazizz Radio, we put our money where our mouth is. We put our words where our heart all together on the table for all to hear, and we are essentially trying to move and put positive pebbles out there. The more positive pebbles that we can throw into the pond, the more positive ripples that we can send across the nations of the globe. What else do we got but the dream? What else do we got but the power of the pen, the power of the spoken word, the power of our actions? What else do we got? You yourself may not have financial resources of epic proportions, but you yourself have a pen. You can write a letter, send it by horseback, or send it by telegraph, or whatever. You can send it to tell somebody somewhere that somebody here is in need, and get something in action to keep these things going and being repaired. If your brother's in trouble, you send somebody to help. Or you help yourself if you're right there in the neighborhood. This is what we believe in on shazizzradio.com. We're not talking about a one world government. We're not talking about a communist society where everybody is all treated equal. We're talking about you and I personally taking our lives into our own hands because we know the system has failed the way that it is written. And we do what we can to help one another, to ease the burdens of each other all over the globe. This is what we believe in, and hopefully that by leading by example from the people at the bottom, the strength of the foundation of the world, the people at the top will finally get it. There is hope for humanity. You know, we're not going to be able to essentially change the mind of the greedy. If somebody's criminally minded, criminally hearted, they're probably going to be a criminal. But it's going to get lonely in that small minority for them. It's going to get lonely if we the people can come together. We have to restore our union back to the Constitution. We have to restore our union back to the point to where, you know, we had some morals in society. We got to kick aside the petty differences that we have, our political views, our religious views, and we got to walk our own personal spiritual journey by ourselves, lead by example, and if our life is good enough that others will see from the outside looking in and follow. We don't have to force our beliefs on somebody. If you're an atheist, let the believer live their life in peace. Live your life in peace. If you're a believer, you don't have to force your beliefs and force them to change the way their views are. What you need to do is live your life, walk your steps in the manner that you believe is honorable and true, and if it looks good from the outside, then people are more apt to follow. These are just some words of wisdom from an old mad science guy who's been around for a few years. But as I look out into society and I see the way that humanity has deteriorated, it's not going to get done until we get up and do it. Period. You're not going to be able to depend on some representative going to Congress or the Senate or the Parliament or whatever it is in your particular part of the world. It's going to be we the people. If we allow things to bring to the point of violence, then God help us all, because violence begets violence, and it will finally deteriorate until here in my nation, America will shred itself from the inside out, and I believe that there are some in the higher powers that want that to be so. I'm inviting everybody to come over to Shazizz Radio, my subscribers on my Mad Science YouTube channel. Thank you for all your support, and on my subscribers on Shazizz Radio, tell your musician friends there's a place for their music to be heard. Tell the poets. Tell the artists. I would like this thing to grow into a huge family reunion, a global family reunion. We don't need governments. We need one another. We need one another to actually listen to each other, to actually do the things that we know in our heart's right. To most of you out there, I'm preaching to the choir, because most of you already believe this in yourself, but you're kind of discouraged because it just doesn't seem to be able to happen fast enough, and I feel that way myself sometimes. But I have little grandchildren, and when they look up at me with their loving eyes and they give me a hug and say, "I love you, Grandpa," that tells me that I got something worthwhile to try to perpetuate the goodness that can come about of all of humanity doing what they have the capabilities of doing. I know that the heart is there. Even in the most angry soul, I know the heart is there. And if we can bring that heart to light, and we can show them that their voice matters, then I believe that we're heading down the right path. On the path that we're on as a nation, as a world, as a world community, we are on the path to sure destruction. There are those out there who thrive on war and death and destruction. You know, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to understand how much money is actually made during war. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to understand that war brings death, death brings disease, and the continuous abuse to the children of those war-torn zones is unimaginable. And those little children right there that you just killed their parents will be the future warriors that will one day go out and kill someone else's parents. So with that said, I'm wanting to invite every single person out there. I would love to hear from the youth. I would love to hear from every single religion, every single race, every single person out there, their positive message of hope. So I'm going to put some links at the bottom of the deal. I'm hoping that each and every one of you check them out. And so with that said, stay tuned for more mad science. Stay tuned for virtual labs. And have your friends come over here. And if they like what we're talking about, then you know, we just keep this ball rolling. That's the best I have to offer with the resources that I have at my disposal. I have my friends around the world, and they have me. And together, there's, in my mind, nothing we can't accomplish. So with that said, peace and love, everybody. Take care. Check out www.shazizzradio.com and listen in on the Nights of the Round Table. Join in on the Nights of the Round Table. Send your MP3s in so people can hear you sing and play your guitar or whatever. And get ready for all the researchers out there, because we've got something amazing coming called virtual labs, and I think you're going to be pleased.